if you ignore the 8 scenarios where they treated somebody white bad, and then you just say, hey, this guy's treating a black, he must be a racist. Well, I don't think that's validation because he's just a bad officer. Welcome to Pull the Pin Ready, a place where average veterans come to share their opinions on the world we live in. We can't guarantee you're going to like our opinions,
but we promise we're going to enjoy giving them to you.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Mike.
And I'm Nate.
Hey, let's pull the pin.
Outstanding.
I thought you said ouch.
Oh, no. That didn't hurt. It didn't hurt yet till the grenade hit the ground.
Oh, okay.
Then we all duck.
There you go.
But Mike, just like normal, you're going to tell us what we're going to talk about today.
Why is always on Mike?
He's the brains of the operation. I'm the beauty. Or at least that's what I was told. Maybe I got that backwards.
Hey, no matter which one it was, I was going to have the same response. Hey, let's talk about this
something near and dear to your heart. Something near and dear to your heart. Say that.
No,
just say it.
Pull the pin. Pull the pin. That's on pull the pin, baby.
So I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Hey,
first time for everything.
I know, right? But no, what I was going to talk about was when we talk about our topics, it's not near and dear to my heart. Only pull the pin topics are near and dear to my heart, man. But hey, and just before we even get to the end of the show, I don't have a topic. Let's talk about this Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter versus what we are about to enter in, the alphabet Lives Matter. Just wanted to get you guys' take on that.
Well, Nate, let's start with you.
No, I was going to say especially you, Jim, because, just like Nate alluded to earlier about how you just recently got back from D.C. and
No, I wasn't in D.C.
Oh, okay.
I told you I was in Portland cleaning up my shop that had been looted and burnt.
Okay.
And in the back stacking magazines and loading them.
There you go. 7-round magazines, right?
Yeah, maybe Nate. He was
5 in Portland. 5-round magazines in Portland.
5 round.
And they have to be loaded backwards. You can only switch them when you go in to use them.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't it be amazing if they did say that, though?
Amazing or surprising? Which?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't either.
No, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But hey, back on the topic. All Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter versus Alphabet Lives Matter. What's you guys' take on all of these causes rising to the surface here?
I think period, just lives matter. It doesn't matter what you are, what job you do, what color you are. Your life matters. It doesn't matter what you are. Now, obviously, I can't speak for the Black community because I'm white, and I don't see. Well, I shouldn't say I don't see. I don't get the how do I want to word it? I don't get the harassment or stuff because I'm not Black, so I don't see how it affects the Black community. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of it obviously is media driven, because they talk about how racist people are, how bad the cops are, how many actual racists do you really know in person? Without the media telling you they're racist, how many people do you know in real life that are racist? How many bad cops do you actually know in person? Now, of course, everybody has them. I mean, there's bad doctors out there, there's bad lawyers out there, but that's not what the news is telling you right now. The news is telling you this person's bad and that person's bad, and that's what's driving the divide and hate.
So let me ask you this, because Black Lives Matter, like when you talk about Black Lives Matter, and this is a clear distinction everyone has to make, and I know people are gonna be like, whatever, I don't care. But this isn't Black Lives Matter didn't come up with George Floyd. That was back a little ways, and the organization is what actually people have a problem with. Or, well, I can't speak for people, but what I noticed a real problem with, that people were trying to have this fight, this argument between the statement Black Lives Matter and the organization Black Lives Matter. So first, can we parse the two? Are we talking about the organization, or are we talking about the movement? Are we, what do we really want to deep into this, or do we have to combine them?
I say as our show, we do whatever the hell we want.
Well, I'm asking you just to tell me what you want to do, because this is all about you, my brother. Because your life matters.
Hey, you're a former cop.
So
your life matters also. But I would say,
but you are a black cop, so you really mattered.
Really, really matter.
Well,
and he's all. So he's got all three.
I don't matter to everyone, though. You know what I mean? I don't matter to everyone, because if I was a black cop in the Capitol building and I was killed, nobody would even. I'm not a part of that Blue Lives Matter. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. So that goes along the lines with certain Black Lives Matter. I've heard that from a black conservative who keeps saying that all the time. I think it was Jericho Green. I think he does that. If you know Jericho?
Yeah, I've listened to him a couple of times. So when they say that, it's like nobody cares about the child that was just shot in Chicago, or name the inner city. It doesn't matter. But everyone focuses on Chicago because that's like the deadliest one these days. So they say, right? And then no one's in an uproar about that. And I think the difference is, and I know you guys don't mind if I use you as an example. Well, I'll use Nate. I know he doesn't mind. This guy who just recently got back from DC, Jim, he does mind. But if a child gets shot from some random bullet of a gang violence or some quarrel in Chicago, people say, oh, there's not an uproar about that. And I'll say, you know what? You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. But whoever shot that child did not take an oath to protect said child. So that's where the whole argument is, your argument or your position is lost to me. You know what I mean?
You're saying that when Black Lives Matter is spoken, or went with the intention of it, was just for police officers shooting black people.
It's for the majority of it. Yeah. 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 So this
Jericho as a normal citizen, I don't wear a badge, I don't wear a uniform. If something happens and I shoot a black guy, the uproar is not going to be as much for me as it was for a cop who shot a black guy.
Exactly. And I just like when they start digging into you, and this is where, that's why I say, Nate, you made a good point when you said about the media is media driven, because sometimes when it's just like, okay, you shot me, I wonder why they always bring up the race, and if you just talk about a cop, because that's the thing in the news these days, in the media, they talk about cops shooting unarmed black men or whatever, right? Is it always a white cop shooting an unarmed other? But for the most part, we're talking about unarmed black men being shot by police officers.
Well, is it police officers or is it white police officers?
White police officers.
So if a black police officer shot an unarmed black man, we wouldn't hear about it.
You probably hear about it, but nationally, no.
Right. So then really clearly, this is about white cops shooting black.
I think that was already distinguished, but you.
Well, no, the reason I want to distinguish it is because it leads me into the transition of why people on the other side, which we were getting to all lives matter, which is why the people there had to capitulate and defend themselves. They had to say, okay, we understand, but all lives matter.
Take that first part out.
What do you mean?
Okay, we understand, but all lives matter. I've never heard anybody say that.
Well, I think I have, and I personally could probably be on the other end of that argument with you and say, okay, Black Lives Matter, right? Okay, why? That's a stupid thing to say to me, because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't Black Lives Matter? And then what are you talking about? Light skin black, dark skin black? What are you talking about? So to me, it's a dumb statement. If you don't think somebody's life matters, there's something wrong with you already. So why would somebody have to tell me, hey, Mike, my life matters?
Okay, but now I've been stopped by, in the past 4 years, and this is a true statement, I've been stopped by a minimum 4 police officers, so once a year on average, right?
Man, what is up with you?
No, I mean, yo, Leadfoot. Okay, I can
You
admit it,
sure? You
right?
sure it's not because you're black?
Well, I think it's because
Okay.
of that.
All right.
No, you know what? I'm joking. No, because, and I say I have to throw that out there that I'm joking because of my next statement. I haven't been a victim per se of a negative encounter with a white officer. I haven't. But if you look at the amount of officers out there, it's just like Nate said earlier, they're bad doctors, they're bad teachers, there's bad officers, right? That doesn't mean that there aren't any bad officers. And since we're talking about them, let's call it like it is. That doesn't mean there are not any bad white officers. You know, so for my personal experience, have I seen some bad white officers? Yeah. But were they doing anything to me? No. Like, have I seen it with my eyes, not on TV or hear about it on the radio or the internet or whatever? Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I've seen bad officers, even, you know, working in my department, that are bad to everyone. Like, it's not like they just, oh, I'm going to go pick on black people. Like, they're just bad officers. They're bad to everyone. And that's kind of different, because if you ignore the 8 scenarios where they treated somebody white bad, and then you just say, hey, this guy's treating a black, he must be a racist. Well, I don't think that's validation, because he's just a bad officer.
Yeah, but no, Nate doesn't know that officer the way you do. I don't know that officer the way you do. So for whatever reason, this case, and I think we know the reason mainly, this case hits the news. Right. So when people see that, and then they go to another city or department and they see another one, and then they see another one, to me, I'm like, hey, what's wrong with just saying, hey, we might have an issue here? For instance, like when people say, well, you know, the majority of black men are killed by other black men in the inner city. I'm like, you got a damn good point. See how easy that is?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can see that.
Right.
But that doesn't, you know, that doesn't prove the other to be wrong, where we might still have an issue here in America with law enforcement.
I've never been profiled because of my race, I don't believe. I've been profiled because of the vehicle I drive. So I was stationed at Fort Drum, New York. I lived in West Virginia. Well, my family was still in West Virginia. I came home on leave, brought my car home. My buddy, who's a city cop, he's like, oh, dude, you're getting pulled over tonight. I'm like, what do you mean I'm getting pulled over tonight? He said, you're a drug dealer. I'm like, he's like, yeah, you got tinted windows, you have chrome rims. To the state police, in New York tags, to the state police, you are a drug dealer. I'm like, damn. My buddy, who's a city cop, he's telling me this. I'm like, damn. Guess who got pulled over that night? This guy.
Well, I'm not laughing at you.
And it was by the state trooper.
Wow.
A county cop backed him up. And I went to high school with the county cop. And the county cop's like, oh, hey, how you doing? Where you been? I was like, oh, I'm military police. I'm in Fort Drum, New York. And state trooper was like, he didn't get his drug dealer. So I guess they couldn't profile me because I had illegal tinted windows, but whatever, it looked cool.
Right.
But they profiled me because of my car, because I thought I was something I wasn't.
So now here's the thing, Nate. Now, to me, if you hear that about, you know, certain people in New York, you can say, yeah, I can see that. You know what I mean?
And I do live in West Virginia. I do live off the interstate. That's a big drug route, so between New York City and Miami. So, but
well, we can't have it both ways. I mean, let's be real. Don't we pay these cops to do that, to catch the drugs, stop the drugs? We can't yell at them because so much crime is going on, and then when they start to see patterns and they start profiling vehicles,
it's illegal. That's illegal. What was the problem
to profile vehicles?
Pull me over. What was the probable cause to pull me over?
Tinted windows? You just said you have illegal
in West Virginia. It wasn't illegal in West Virginia.
Well, yeah, maybe, I guess. I don't know that state. So they may have probable cause to pull you over for out-of-state illegal tinted windows. I have no idea.
And that right there, Jim, is the problem.
What's that?
Profiler.
Yeah, because he's telling you it wasn't illegal in West Virginia, right?
I'm not listening. Okay, go.
Okay.
Sorry.
My whole thing is this. It's like he's telling us it wasn't legal in West Virginia. I don't know if it is or not, right? He's telling us about his experience, and I'm like, okay, I accept it.
Okay.
You know, I'm not gonna say, well, I don't know. No, the cop was wrong. He profiled him.
So I'm thinking Nate, the West Virginia guy, knows more about the law where he got pulled over than the cop does. Now, I'm not saying cops are wrong, but why are we giving Nate the benefit and not the cop?
Because I know Nate. I don't know the cop.
Oh, okay. So in this
No, I'm being
yes.
serious here. Listen, man, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I used to be on the job, right? So then this cop does something wrong. It's just like when I talk to my family about it, and you see something on the news with a cop, he does something. I say, I need to see more of that video because something happened before that, right? Most likely. And I'm being honest here, right? So then I look at it, I say, nah, I would have done the same thing. Because you know how it is when I'm searching you, I tell you, hey, don't make any sudden moves, man. And I've slammed plenty of guys for that because they start making moves and I'm like, nah, take them down. But whereas if it was you or Nate who did that, people would say, well, he only did that because he's white and the other guy was black. And I'm like, no, I would have done the same thing. So I can relate to that. So I can relate to Nate.
So the question is, Nate, you know for sure you were profiled.
Well, yeah, my city cop friend told me I'm going to get pulled over by the state police for being a drug dealer.
Okay, because you look like a drug dealer.
Oh my God.
Because my car looked like a drug dealing car. Because it had New York tags, out-of-state tags with chrome rims and tinted windows. He told me as a city cop that the state police are going to get me. And they tried.
I have to hear your response.
And I opened my trunk and I had a fishing pole and tackle box in the back. My
response is I'm just trying to figure out what the standard is, Mr. Michael James there. Because the other conversation we had about courts, well, you have to trust the courts if the evidence was not good. So you have to trust the system. But here we are trusting a driver whom we happen to know over a police officer who does this for a living. So what is it? Do we trust law enforcement? Or we only trust them if we don't know the person who got pulled over?
See, this is where you kind of like splitting hairs here. I trust Nate. What did Nate say?
He said his friend told him.
A police officer told him he would be profiled and pulled over, and that's exactly what happened. So now, are you? Hold up. You're talking about trusting the police officer. Why don't you trust that one?
Which was this guy a state police officer?
He said, no, don't even respond to that, Nate. He said it was a police officer. His city police officer friend told him he was going to be profiled and pulled over. Why don't you trust that?
Well, why would I just blindly trust that too? He doesn't even work in the same department as the guy that pulled him over.
Oh, okay.
So maybe the local police have a problem with the state.
Because he knows the history of the state police and what they do there.
Nate, I told you not to respond.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. If you want to pick a side, go ahead. But like you just said, we're making an inference or a reference or just believing that this is all profiling. That's what we're making. And it's not really fair because where's the facts? Where's the other officer's story? Where is the other officer's case? We don't have it. So It's no different.
You don't have a case because they let me go with no ticket and nothing else. So what else was he pulling me over for? Case dismissed.
Illegal fishing.
I didn't have fish in the trunk. I just have fishing pole.
So reel it back in to Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter.
Well, cops' life matters too. So don't leave them out of this.
Yeah, I'm not leaving them out. It's funny how people left them out on this when this Capitol building was raided, looted.
Well, didn't they leave him out? Didn't he leave him out too when that off-duty David Dorn? He was a cop.
They don't raise a big stink when cops get killed like they do when cops kill black people. No matter who kills the cop, they don't raise it.
I look at it like this: people in America, they're gonna do what the media tells them, first and foremost, right? For the majority, and if that's why I said 50%, right? That's why I said if something happens and somebody says they were profiled because of this, that, to me, Nate can say, yeah, I can see that. It happened to me. Not as a black man, but he could see how people are profiled. So he could, not sympathy, but he has some empathy there. You know what I mean? So when certain things happen to police officers, I say, I can see that because I used to be there. with that experience. Whereas if you don't have any experience, it's like, oh yeah, I need to see the other side of that. Especially when you know someone, you know.
See,
I'm being
I can't
serious
really
with
judge
you.
on that because I was never a civilian police officer, though, just military police. And I didn't see the divide between black and whites in the military when I was in. I didn't see it. It might have been there, but I didn't realize it. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought we all got along great. We all went out together. We all went to the bars together. We did everything together. Don't matter what you were. So when I was on patrol, I never saw who I was pulling over to be any color. I just pulled you over because obviously you deserve to be pulled over for something.
Yeah, there was a certain infraction or whatever, and you did your job.
Looking like a drug dealer.
When he was off duty.
No, that was your infraction.
I pulled over with probable cause, not, I think I got a suspicion.
Yeah, well, I get it. Yeah, I'm not going to beat that death because, I'm sure he would have wrote on the ticket anyway. Looked like a drug dealer.
Yeah, right. But normally when they do that, they'll find some justifiable reason, probable cause to pull you over. It's
true. In New Jersey, in a sweet little town in New Jersey, one of those ritzy places in New Jersey. I know that you don't think there's many there, but there are some. I got pulled over in my minivan with tinted windows at 11 o'clock at night. Literally, minivan, tinted windows.
North Jersey?
No, it's Central. I know you guys don't recognize
Central.
Yes, it is. If you grew up, God. If you grew up there, you know where Central is because you don't want no part of North New York and no part of South Philly. You just don't want it. Everybody down south is from Philly, and they say everybody up north is North Jersey. Everybody up north is from New York, and they say South Jersey. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about me getting pulled over in a minivan with tinted windows.
It happens.
Right. And I don't think I was profiled. I mean, I don't think I was profiled per se by one individual thing. I think I was profiled by the behavior. I'm at 11 p.m. in a van or any vehicle with tinted windows. I guess I wasn't mad. I wasn't upset. I didn't feel targeted. Guy pulled me over.
What's the behavior? What's the behavior, though?
Maybe suspicious. I don't know. Rolling around in tinted windows, especially if it's illegal at first sight. So let's say you see the tinted windows and you don't realize the tags. You get up to pull the guy over, then you realize the tags. What do? Do you just, oh, sorry, go about your way, or do you approach the guy anyway? There could be some.
Him and leave. There's a funny traffic stop. I'm like, when I got somewhere for speed and I looked at my radar again, I'm like, oh shit, my speed's not correct on my radar. Just whoop, keep on going around them like I'm going somewhere else. Wrong car.
I never did that.
I did that. Oh yeah.
Well, I'm just saying there may be a human aspect to it, but this is what I think the problem is. Even when you talk about the Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, we are conditioned now to have these auto responses. Like somebody saying Black Lives Matter, we automatically think, well, so you're saying our lives don't matter? Or somebody saying all lives matter means you're dismissing Black Lives Matter. Like that's what we're conditioned to do. And just like you can. But you can disagree if you want. But that just like
like you said before, like Black Lives Matter, the movement, and they have a Black Lives Matter organization. There's not a Blue Lives Matter organization, is there? There's not an All Lives Matter organization, is there? I don't know. I'm asking.
I would say no.
Church? I don't know.
No. I would say.
No, I'm just saying. You mentioned we're arguing of the Black Lives Matter movement or the Black Lives Matter organization, but there's not a Blue Lives Matter organization that I know of, or a All Lives Matter organization.
Yeah, but I agree. Most you have is like some social media platform, right? And those to me were created to counter the Black Lives Matter. That's it.
And so, like I say, from what I see from the news or from Facebook or from social media, what has the Black Lives Matter organization done as a group? Have they donated money to whatever to raise awareness? Have they went out and I haven't seen where everybody posts that they take the money, but they don't do nothing with it. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't do the research on it.
Well, this is just me. I haven't done the research in there, to get into their finances.
And nowadays you can't even tell if you find an article or something. You don't even know nowadays if it's true or not.
No.
That's the real challenge in today's media and anything.
If that's the case, I just read an article that they donate all their money to the hungry.
There you go. Oh, and I just read an article that they took all the,
I'm hungry.
food from
I'm
the
hungry.
hungry.
Nobody care what you read, Jim.
Well, I can't read, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But no, the whole thing with Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter versus the alphabet, my whole thing is anything after Black Lives Matter to me was created to counter the Black Lives Matter by people who, and this is just me, they really don't feel like they felt the cause or they felt the movement, if you will, or they don't believe in it. They don't believe there's an issue in America. You know, it's just like I don't know if you guys seen a couple of conversations I had on Facebook, and I was like, I don't get it. The people are upset. The election was stolen. They go riot, loot, kill. Right? That happened. And then people sit here and justify, well, they're just fed up. They're fed up. Okay, so let's flip it. It doesn't matter if you're a part of that group. Like Nate said, I was profiled, but I can't speak for black people because I'm white, right? It doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter. If Nate says he was profiled, I'm like, okay. And if you said the same thing, Jim, so I'm saying, okay, there must be an issue here, right? Why not? Let's look at it instead of just no.
Well,
It
I
doesn't
think there's a
exist.
distinct difference though, Mike. And that's why
What's
I
that?
said the difference is number one, Black Lives Matter was socially forced on everyone. And you can disagree with that and make your point after I tell you what I'm talking about. Like there were people that were on social medias now, all companies had to put the black lives, they're forced on everyone. And even if that's a valid cause, like even if it's a valid cause, so is climate change, so is there's hundreds of thousands of valid causes. So the problem becomes twofold for me. One, when you force your cause on me, like I'm supposed to make it top priority in my life, that doesn't mean your cause isn't important. For sure it doesn't. I mean, if you're a parent, raising your kids or schools are important. Well, you can't force single people or old people with no more kids or care about school to even give a darn. So you can't force it on them. And then the flip side of that is if people were trying to be cordial and say, look, no, I believe all lives matter and you can believe whatever, and maybe some of it's true. But even if I were to use that myself, you flip it. You can't just then say, well, you must hate black people or you must. No, that's not what I'm saying because you're hearing it out of my mouth. I don't hate black people. Sure, Black Lives Matter. Sure, all lives matter and cop lives matter. What more do you want? I just don't think you have to force me to take up a cause. And when you use the example about the election, that was against our government. That was not against the people who didn't get on and subscribe with your cause. You cannot force people to care about your cause. Well,
So where's the force come in?
Where's the force?
Yeah.
Well, it's social pressure. You know for a fact that you can't deny that. So companies were putting it.
Whoa.
What do you mean?
First of all, I can deny anything I
Yes,
want.
you can. You can. You do. We know. We know this. We know this. You're going to deny it.
No calling, no waiver, no statement.
There you go. There you go. But no, where's the force at? I don't get it.
I'd like to request a lawyer.
Okay, there you go. Nobody forced you to speak.
Well,
Right?
okay, maybe force is a little aggressive, but there was social pressure for sure.
Where was the social pressure?
Where?
Yeah.
It was written all over the streets. It was on football games. It was everywhere. People were putting it up like they had to support this, and that's okay to support it. It's okay to do that.
Yeah, but I don't see the.
You don't think government money to put Black Lives Matter, change street names using our tax dollars is forced on me? You don't see that?
No.
Okay.
Do you, Nate? I'm being serious here. Do you, Nate?
If I want to go put
forced?
Trump 2020,
it's not being forced on you. Change the channel.
No, you don't change the channel in the streets of New York City when it's written all over the road. You don't do that.
You don't go to the part of New York City if you don't like it.
Yeah,
but
right.
I see your point though. The media was forcing it by everything they broadcasted.
It's like the cancel culture right now. If you're not on board, you're not on board, then you're ostracized. And people don't want that. So maybe it's not forced because we always have a choice. Obviously, you have a choice. But the pressure is so immense that, people were fighting over just words. I mean, words.
Yeah, but okay. All right. But
my point in all that is I don't have to make your priority my priority. I don't have to.
Okay, so, and I got that. But if I sit here and I say, and Black Lives Matter, and then you say, well, all lives matter. Okay, then why aren't you standing with me then?
Why? What do you mean
No,
standing with you?
Yes.
Mean?
Why don't you? If you
Who says I'm
now,
not standing with you?
I am in this scenario.
But
Okay.
if all lives matter, I'm standing with you as well.
No. See, that's the point.
Well,
and that's the problem with a lot of people have with the all lives matter.
I don't agree with that
platforms.
Because
you don't agree with what?
Well, because see, you're now implying that if I say all lives matter, and this is a belief of yours.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Jim, one thing you got to stop doing, man. Stop taking everything so damn personal.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm illustrating the point. The belief of yours is that all lives matter was created in counter to Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
So you believe that?
Yes.
That is your belief. I'm not making that up. I'm not forcing
it. Okay.
You
is this the last time you're gonna ask me that?
No.
Okay. Jesus. Yes, I do believe it. The same thing with the Blue Lives Matter.
So if I believe that by me saying all lives matter, or by you saying Black Lives Matter, then you're telling me my life doesn't matter. Is that
okay? I can see that.
Okay, so now if I say, well, no, you're incorrect. All lives matter because that includes me too.
Yeah, but listen to what you just said.
Yeah, well, I agree with it. But
I
all
just
covers
said
everything.
no. I just said Black Lives Matter, right?
Yes.
And then you said, well, then I'll say you're incorrect. All lives matter.
Right.
Isn't that like a contradiction?
No,
because I said Black Lives Matter, and you said no, you're wrong.
All bananas are food. All peaches are fruits. Like what? I mean, I don't get it. Like all encompasses black, encompasses cops, encompasses every living life.
If you have this group of law enforcement people, they doing a march or whatever, saying Blue Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, right?
Yeah.
No, you're wrong. All lives matter.
Well, okay.
That's a contradiction to me.
Sure. You're not wrong, but I don't have to say Black Lives Matter to be right. I mean,
you don't have to say a damn thing.
Exactly.
So my thing is, why say all lives matter?
Well,
because the initial point to me is just to counter what was said.
Sure. If that's what you believe, but so you're saying people weren't going around forcing people to say their name, do this stuff, say, you're saying they weren't doing that?
What do you mean forcing people to say what name?
Say, the victims' names that got shot by cops and the Black Lives.
No, nobody ever forced me to say anyone's name. No.
That's because you're black. They didn't assume you were going to say anything different.
Oh, okay. Well, then I can't answer the question.
Well, there's videos.
Nate, what do you think, Nate? How many times were you forced to say Breonna Taylor?
I see both sides. I agree with Mike that All Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter were created because of Black Lives Matter, because they weren't there before Black Lives Matter, so they were created because of the Black Lives Matter movement. I agree with that. Now forcing people, now I know the NBA, they were on their jerseys, it was on the courts. I don't know if all the players agreed with it, so maybe they were forced to do it because they wanted to keep a job, they wanted to keep making millions, so they said, screw it, I'll wear a Black Lives Matter jersey if I'm going to make $4 million doing it. Were they forced to? I don't know. I don't know their opinion. I don't know. I was not forced to do anything for Black Lives Matter. I was not forced to do anything for Blue Lives Matter. I was not forced to do anything for All Lives Matter. If I didn't like it, change channel. I didn't go to that neighborhood. I didn't go to that store. I didn't go to that restaurant.
But then you had to have been ostracized then, right, Nate?
I don't think I was.
No? Oh, okay.
Well, you see, you're trying to bring this into a personal arena, but I didn't go out either. So, but you're saying that All Lives Matter was created in counter, but I didn't create it. I've never even said it to anybody who said Black Lives Matter. So I didn't create it. So that really doesn't apply to me. So we're analyzing this.
We didn't say you did, but it was created.
No, and I agree with that. No, I do agree with that. But I can't speak for the people who said it. But as well as you can't speak for anybody who says they weren't forced, because if people were forced, they were forced. And I saw videos of people in riots and yelling at people, say their name and threaten them in the cars they drove by and bang. I've seen the videos. So that doesn't mean all of them were saying it, but
right.
No, the tension over words is crazy to me. It's just crazy.
All it did was cause more divide. It didn't fix anything.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And here we are talking about it.
Right.
Exactly.
And I just want you to know this, Mike Lives Matter and Nate Lives Matter. And Jim Lives Matter.
Notice how none of us said that your life matters.
I know, I had to say it. Right? Isn't it crazy? Now, every one of you will say that, or I'm disconnecting you from the call. No,
Jim's life matter was only created because my life mattered and your life mattered.
That's right.
That's our lives.
I am officially forcing you to say it now. Say it. Say it. Okay, anyway, let's move on to pull the pin already. No more mention of that unless you want to bring it up in your pull the pin, but we're just going to jump into it. I'm tired of explaining it. Go ahead. Who's got to pull the pin?
I got to pull the pin. It's probably beating a dead horse, but I'm going to go with COVID. So
you just stole mics. You just stole mics. You know that, right?
This is something near and dear to my heart.
Wow.
It kind of isn't. COVID really isn't. But we've sent all these National Guard troops down to DC to protect the inauguration, right? Have you seen the pictures of all these troops all gathered in one room, all huddled up, all put in one place? I mean, they probably took their mask off on their own, or they're told, don't worry about wearing your mask. But wait, you have a huge group of all these people in one room, and that's okay. But I can't put 75% of a restaurant. I can't do 75% of a bar, but I can put 300 soldiers' lives at risk because we need them to protect politicians. So what really is COVID affect? It doesn't affect soldiers at the inauguration, or does it?
Well, you know there's exceptions, man. Those rules are only made so they have exceptions. You know, if you're a politician, you can go to a restaurant and, you know, there's exceptions. So you just didn't read the fine print, the earmarks.
Oh,
I read the fine print, and
I didn't have time to read all 487 pages of that thing in 30 minutes after it was given to me to vote on.
Yeah. I look at it different, and I think the military leadership was taking a chance that someone had COVID maybe, and they were trying to spread it to everyone in that Capitol building, all the politicians there, to try to a clean sweep.
Wait, now you're implying the military is against the politicians.
Never.
Is that not an insurrection?
It was a joke.
Bunch of thugs off the street, and that's an insurrection?
You talking about thugs being the politicians?
No, those are, well, they're already off the street.
So that was a good one, man. Feel free anytime. Bring up COVID, I tell you, and doing pull the pin.
So you want it next, Mike, or you want mine?
I have something. Yeah, I have something. And, I know I haven't mentioned this one before, Jim, and you've been getting on me about my repeat pull the pins. But this is something near and dear to my heart, Nate.
Yes.
The hypocrisy. I'm tired of the hypocrisy from just Americans in general. And it's like we talked about before, Jim, Nate, is that all you have to do is sit back and watch the American political spectrum, right, for 8 years, and you will see hypocrisy on both sides. And you will see it because when Jim does something, Jim being the diehard liberal that he is, it's okay. But when the other side, my side, the diehard Republican that I am, when my side does it, then Jim is going to have a problem with it, right? And then I'll be able to justify my behavior and my team's behavior, but I'll criticize Jim and his team when they do it. Oh yeah,
Here's the problem with that. My team, the Libertarians, don't have enough money to compete with you two. If my team, the Libertarians, had enough money, we could solve a lot of problems.
I love it. Thank you. And no one wants to give you the opportunity. And if both sides will, in my opinion,
I guess L stands for loser.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a D and an R on L, loser.
Yeah, because when both sides conspire to keep you down, to me, that states that's a big thing to me, because that just shows there's something about that party that they're both afraid of.
Yeah, anytime you try to silence people, it's because they threaten you.
Yeah.
And I agree, Mike, the hypocrisy, we could probably have a whole episode on that stuff. Pull the pin, we could pull that every show. Hypocrisy is getting old. I do believe people in general have a tendency to be hypocrites. And I don't think it's intentional. I think it's kind of human nature. But I think what you're talking about is the blatant hypocrisy where people should be able to see what they're doing. Right? Yeah. That's fair enough. So I'm going to go a little off. You guys are a little too deep today. So I'm going to go a little off the beaten path here. And I'm going to take a trip through the shopping place. What do you call them things? In the food stores. Well, grocery store. The grocery store. Well, I can't think of a simple word like that. Jeez. So I'm not pulling the pin on the grocery store. I'm pulling the pin on the careless people that stroll through it. And when I mean careless, like, have you ever been shopping for like bread and there's a Starbucks coffee cup like right there next to your loaf of bread, and you're like, I know they don't sell Starbucks here, so how did this get here? And then you're like, is it still warm? Can I drink it? But you don't, because obviously somebody left it there. I don't understand why people do that. They bring in their own garbage, they finish it, and they leave it there. Like literally, there's a garbage can at the register. Literally, you can hand it to the lady, put it on the belt, and she'll throw it in the garbage for you. What's up with that? I mean, these people are just, I mean, you can't be that selfish and inconsiderate. You just can't.
Since we're in a grocery store, but there's idiots that don't know how to drive a cart. Drive it like a freaking car. Stay on your side of the aisle.
You missed the signal back there. Anyways, that is all the time we have for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for putting up with us. Hope you come back next time. Hope you had something out of this. And until then, Godspeed.
And pull the pin.
Boom.
Thanks for joining us here. Pull the pin already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. But most importantly, leave a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. Hope to see you here next time on Pull the Pin Already.